Hey, what is up everyone? This is Pvt-Mittens, and today I'm going to be doing my top 15 platformer games of all time. For me anyway. It's going to be the same as you've ever watched any of my other list videos. One per franchise, my list. So this will be, 3D and 2D platformers. And remember, it's my list, so don't get upset. We had the 5 runner-ups, like I always have done. Number 20, Kirby's Epic Yarn for the Nintendo Wii. Released in 2010 in Japan and North America, and 2011 to the rest of the world. Published by Nintendo and developed by Goodfeel HAL Laboratory. I really enjoyed this game. In fact, I enjoyed it more than Super Mario Galaxy on the Wii. I enjoyed the graphics, I enjoyed the gameplay, I enjoyed the music. Unfortunately, it was very easy and very short, hence why it's not actually on the list. And you're going to be noticing in this that there's a lot of, nods to music for some of these games. So yeah, let's continue. So number 19, we have Alex Kidd in Miracle World for the Sega Master System. Released in 1986 for Japan and 1987 for the rest of the world. Published by Sega and developed by one of Sega's, in groups, which I'm going to be doing that for a few here because some of them are done like that as well, just to make it easier for you. So Alex Kidd Miracle World, I never played it on the cartridge because it is not an easy game to find, but I came late to the party, to say the least. I bought it on PS3 when it became available digitally, and I fell in love with it. I love the music. I love the whole rock paper scissors thing. I love the whole vehicles. I love how you can do the game differently depending on what you spend your money on. So I like that, that different thing that they've done with it. And unfortunately, Sega hasn't really done anything with the franchise and the character, to say the least. But it is a runner-up, so yeah. So number 18, we have Earthworm Jim, released in 1994, published by Interplay Entertainment. Developed by Shiny Entertainment. Devil loves this game. In fact, he loves it so much that I actually gave him my original PC copy. So I don't actually own the game anymore. I only have it digitally on PS3. I loved Earthworm Jim. I love the humor. I love the graphics. Like, the music wasn't as great as some of the other games on this list, but it was feasible. I like the character. And it just doesn't hold up to the others you'll be seeing on the list. That's why it's, one of the runners-up. So, moving on. Number 17, we have Mickey Mania, The Timeless Adventures of Mickey Mouse. Released in 1994 in North America and 1995 everywhere else. Published by Sony ImageSoft, which is now known as Sony Computer Entertainment. And developed by Treasure Tales. I'm not really a fan of Mickey Mouse. I like some of Disney stuff, but I'm not really a fan of Mickey Mouse. But this game was brilliant. Very hard though. I like the music, I like the graphics, and I just like the platforming. I honestly believe it's the best Mickey Mouse game that's ever got released. So yeah, that's obviously it's a runner-up because, as I said, it's not as good as some of the later games. And also, fun fact: this is actually David Jaffe helped make this game. If you don't know who he is, Twisted Metal and God of War. That's who David Jaffe was. But moving on. So number 16, we have LittleBigPlanet, released in 2008, published by Sony Computer Entertainment, developed by Media Molecule. I like the gameplay, that you can build your own worlds, download people's, all that there. I've talked about LittleBigPlanet before, but unfortunately LittleBigPlanet doesn't deserve to be on the list just because of the sheer fact that you have to make your own fun, as opposed to some of the other games that are coming up. And I know that's a bit unfair to say, but that's just what I think anyway. Fantastic game, but just short and just shy of the actual list. Number 15, Spyro 3, Year of the Dragon, released in 2000, published by Sony and developed by Insomniac Games. What a game. The whole feel of the open world was done by the previous games, but this is where they really, perfected what they have done. The graphics were nothing short of amazing. It's one of the best looking games on the system. I love the music. I like the whole characters. I like the boss fights without spoiling anything, of course. A lot of replay value. Wasn't a short game either. I'm not going to go too much on about this one because of the sheer fact it is getting remastered this year for the PS4, Xbox, and PC. I think Switch is getting it too. But yeah, that's number 15, guys. So number 14, we have Jax 2, or Jax Renegade in the PAL regions. So I'll be calling it Renegade. Released in 2003, published by Sony and developed by Naughty Dog. I honestly believe that this is far, far better than what people give it credit for. Yes, it's very hard, and it can be very unfair with its difficulty spikes sometimes. But what you're getting, to me, is one of the best PS2 experiences. I love the graphics. I love the characters. In my opinion, it's the best story in the trilogy, and including the spin-offs, of course, but the trilogy is what we're talking about here. I just love the boss fights more. I like the city. It seemed more alive as opposed to what 3 did. There's not much to say because a lot of people have not really played Jak and Daxter. They haven't the only PlayStation platformers they've played from that generation seems to be the Ratchet and Clank games. But unfortunately, guys, please play Jax 2. It's available on Vita, I believe. It's on PS3 remastered, so definitely pick it up, guys. And hopefully we get a PS4 redone for that. So moving on. So number 13, we have Ratchet and Clank Tools of Destruction, or Future Tools of Destruction as it's known in North America. Released in 2007, published by Sony and developed by Insomniac Games. I know a lot of people will disagree and say the original trilogy is better. I can agree with that on a lot of ways, but to me, I believe this is the best Ratchet and Clank game. I love the gameplay. I think it's the best in the series. I love the graphics. I know shouldn't go on about graphics a lot, but it was the best looking game next to MotorStorm for a launch title for the PS3. That's pretty impressive considering, you know, Uncharted was coming around the corner as well. I love the weapons. I think it's got the best weapons in the series. I know a lot of people won't like that either. I love the villain. I think he's funny as. I love the humor in the game. I think it's got the best portrayal of Quark. Unfortunately, there is no Nefarious, which is a bit of a shame. But nonetheless, I think this game is utterly fantastic, and it's definitely worth checking out if you've never owned a PS3 before. So moving on. So number 12 is Mega Man. But what Mega Man have I chosen for this? That's Mega Man 10. I know a lot of people won't like that either, especially considering people consider Mega Man 2 and 1 to be the best in the series. So released in 2010, published by Capcom and developed by Capcom. Now with Mega Man 10, I believe it's got the best levels in the series. Music, I believe it's got the best in the series. Bosses, yes, I would disagree that it doesn't have the best. I would say 1 has probably the best, even though 1, you know, sort of was very generic with its bosses. But Mega Man 10, I loved the levels, as I said. I loved, you know, the music. I loved everything about it. People do say it's too easy. It is easy, but it is really enjoyable nonetheless. Unfortunately, it was never released physically, but if you do have the Mega Man Legacy Collection 2, 9 and 10 are on that disc, so that's the only way to own it physically. So if you are looking to play it, or even just to own the game 9 and 10 physically, because they were never physically released, it's the only way you're going to own the physical version of it. So a bit of a shame by Capcom, but yeah. So enough of that rant, moving on. So number 11, we have a game that a lot of people do not know of and have not played. Please check it out, guys. If there's one thing you should take away from this list in this video, is this game. Go and play it if you own a Sega Mega Drive or Genesis, and if you love old games, platformers, please check it out. That game is Wiz and Liz, the Frantic Wabbit Rescue, and yes, it's called Wabbit Rescue. Released in 1993, published by Psychosis. Yes, the Wipeout, you know, developers. And developed by Raising Hell Software. I loved this game growing up as a kid. In fact, my parents got me into this game. They loved playing this constantly co-op because it's a co-op game. You don't have to play co-op, by the way, but it's a co-op game where one plays as, you know, Wiz, the other plays as Liz. And the whole objective of the game is to, you know, collect rabbits to unlock the boss, fight the boss, rinse and repeat. But the levels are really, really well detailed. The bosses are so cool looking. I mean, these were cool looking bosses before Cuphead came along. The music is fantastic as well, and it's one of the very first games I ever really enjoyed as a kid. Please, as I said, guys, check it out. It is a game worth checking out. Number 10, we have Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy's Kong Quest. Released in 1995, published by Nintendo, developed by Rare. A lot of people are thinking, why isn't this higher on the list? Well, the games coming up, I believe, are better, but that's not to bag this game at all. This game is fantastic. The music is amazing. Graphics are amazing, especially for the time anyway. Levels are amazing. Bosses are amazing. Everything about it was amazing. I mean, it did something that a lot of people weren't expecting. It improved upon its original, which already set the bar. So that's very impressive. But then again, this was Rare. Rare back in the day could do nothing wrong. That's how good they were. It also introduced my favorite character in the Donkey Kong series, which is Dixie, and she's one of my favorite female leads, or female characters, should I say? Sorry, in gaming. So, well done to that. Also, you play as Diddy or Dixie, two characters that I prefer over Donkey Kong. Don't hate Donkey Kong. It's just that I prefer them over him. But Donkey Kong Country 2, a lot of people have gone on about it, so I'm not going to go on too much. Phenomenal game. Definitely worth owning if you own any sort of Nintendo platform that has access to Nintendo's eShop, because it's available on it. So moving on. So number 9 is a game that I recently got to finish, and I'll tell you what, it's one of the best games I've ever played on a handheld. That is Tearaway. Released in 2013 for the Vita, and then obviously re-released for the PS4, but we'll go with the Vita version. Published by Sony and developed by Media Molecule. This is the highest rated Vita game, I believe, that isn't a remake, 'cause I think Persona 4 takes the highest rated score, but Tearaway is the highest rated Vita game that was new. I think it deserves every bit of that score. Tearaway is nothing short of one of the greatest platformers ever made, and I think it's a shame that if you own a PS4 or a Vita, you owe it to yourself to play this game. Graphics are very, papery, since Media Molecule has done, without, the fabric with LittleBigPlanet. They did paper with this. And I really like the art style. It's not amazing, but it is really nice to look at. The platforming is really good. I played the PS4 version. I've not played the Vita version, but the interactive, controls that I've seen on the Vita version look like I'm actually going to play it on the Vita just to see, play it again essentially, and just see why it's better on the Vita, because a lot of people have told me play it on the Vita. Trust me, you'll never touch your PS4 version ever again. Music is really good, not the best, but it is really good. But why is it so high on the list, you're wondering? Well, you can customize your character, and of course, very LittleBigPlanet style. It's the story. Now, the one thing Tearaway destroys every game on this list is its story. I couldn't believe after I played, because it doesn't tell you what the story is until the very end of, the very, very end of the game, just before the credits hit. And I thought to myself, wow, that's a really well done story. I'm not going to spoil it, but it moved me. And it's very hard for me to feel emotional with a video game, a movie, music, any of that. My friends, my family will tell you that. And I actually felt really moved with the ending of Tearaway. They did a fantastic job. And after this game, for me, I'm buying every Media Molecule game, day one. They've proven to me that they are a fantastic developer, and they deserve the money day one. So number 8, we have Croc, The Legend of the Gobos. I loved this game. Released in 1997, published by Fox Interactive and developed by Argonaut Software. For anyone that doesn't know, Argonaut was the ones that did the original Star Fox games. But Croc, I played this on PC to begin with, and then played it on the PS1. I love Croc. I think he's adorable as a character. I love the music. The music is fantastic in this game. The levels are really you can see that this game, like for anyone that doesn't know the history of this game, an idea put forward to Nintendo for Mario for the 64, but they pushed it back, hence why Croc was never released on 64. So, and you can see that it was going to be, you know, a 3D Mario game, but controls have not aged very well. You're probably thinking, why is it so high then? I love Croc, I love the bosses, I love the levels, the music, fantastic. I really think this game and its sequel deserve a remaster like Crash and Spyro are getting. Well, Crash has got, Spyro's getting. Sorry, I think Croc deserves it next. When I talk about Croc, everyone I talk to about Croc, sorry, have never played it. Even Devil had never played it, and I was like, "You've got to play it. It's really good." And he played it and he loved it. Yes, the controls, be warned, are very dated by today's standards, but hey, it doesn't hurt the game too much in terms of enjoyment, and yeah, please play it, guys. So yeah, so number 7 we have Sly Cooper 2 Band of Thieves, released in 2004 for the world, 2005 for Japan. It was published by Sony and developed by Sucker Punch, the guys that would later go on to do the infamous games. Sly Cooper 2, it's the best platformer on the PS2, bar none. Nothing compares to it. The trilogy and 4 are good. I mean, the trilogy's amazing. 4 was good, but Sly 2 was above and beyond the rest of the series. It was just that good. The bosses, the levels, the music. We got to see more of Bentley, Murray, and Sly, which, by the way, in my opinion, the best trilogy in gaming. I don't care what anyone says, they're funny as fuck. The humor was fantastic. The gameplay, the whole stealth action, stealth platforming, sorry, bar none, undefeated in this genre. When every other genre tries to do stealth platforming, nothing can touch Sly Cooper, and it's just that good. It really is, and it's a shame that no one really played the trilogy on PS2. And no one even bothered to pick up the PS3 remaster of the trilogy. And it's a goddamn... Well, Vita also got it as well, but I'm talking, you know, PS3 because it's what I played. But it's a goddamn shame. They deserve to be played. They're that good. If you don't believe me that they're better than Ratchet and Clank and Jax, go and play them. And then if you agree with me, all well and good. If you don't, that's fine. But at least you actually played it, which can't be said for a lot of Sony ponies that don't play them. So yeah. Please give it a try, guys. Please give it a shot. Give Sly the love he deserves. And Sly needs a 5th game. Come on, Sony. Come on, Sucker Punch. Let's do it. So, just shy of number 5. At number 6, Rayman Legends, released in 2013 for practically every system. Published by Ubisoft and developed by Ubisoft. Wow. Not only is it the best looking platformer ever made, it controls like butter. It's smooth as butter, sorry. It controls so well, you can't fault the game's controls. The music, level-wise, absolutely fantastic. The levels are absolutely fantastic. But a lot of people remember this game just for those, you know, licensed songs, which it has Black Betty, Eye of the Tiger, you know, stuff like that there. They were amazing, and if you completed the game, you got the 8-bit versions of them, which were even funnier. There's so much to do in this game. It really was. I honestly believe it's Ubisoft's best game they've ever made. Only one other game that they've done that comes close to this. But Rayman Legends, a lot of people have played this. Not going to go on too much. Pick it up next to nothing now on the PS3, 360, PS4, Xbox One, and I think the Vita version may be a bit more expensive than the others. But no excuse not to pick this game up. If you love platformers, you have to check this out. It's really that good, and it just missed the top 5 spot, which goes to show how good it was. But now let's get to the top 5. So number 5 is a game that a lot of people are going to be thinking that should be in the top 3 at least, but it's not. That is Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo, released in 1990 for Japan, 1991 for North America, and 1992 for the rest of the world, because Nintendo doesn't know how to release worldwide. Developed and published by Nintendo themselves. This game, to me is fucking... If there's one game that will not age and will just stay as good as it is for the rest of time, it'll be this game. It's Nintendo's best Mario game, and that's saying a lot considering Mario 3 is just as good, and Mario Galaxy is just as good, Mario 64 is just as good, but Super Mario World is the best in the series, bar none. Love the worlds, love the music, everything it did perfectly. The bosses, the music, the worlds, the shortcuts, the power-ups, everything. There's nothing this game did wrong, which begs the question, why isn't it higher? Because I was talking to Devil when I was making this video, and he even knew that the next 4 games, he knew straight off were going to be on this list, and at the top, he knew straight away. So you're going to find out in a minute, guys, what they are and why I think they're better. But Super Mario World, utterly fantastic. Everyone has played it. If you've not played it, it's available on every Nintendo eShop, just like the Donkey Kong Country game. So please check it out, guys, if you're a fan of platformers, and you'll see what perfection practically is for a platformer. Number 4, Conkers Bad Fur Day. Released in 2001 worldwide, published by Rare in North America, but THQ in the PAL regions, and developed by Rare themselves. I don't know why the publishing was a bit weird for that. Nintendo didn't publish it, but who knows. Wow. A lot of people know this game for its humor, its being an adult platformer. That's true, but I remember this game for one thing. Its music is like... Rare is good at doing music. They're the best in the genre for that. And Conkers Bad Fur Day was nothing short of amazing for its music. The bosses were probably the best bosses on this list, by far. The graphics pushed the 64 to its absolute limit. But then again, Rare did that with every Nintendo system they got their hands on. Conker himself is funny as he's one of the best characters in gaming. The game was long, it was not short. It let you it was worth your money. And for a game to come out very late in the life cycle and to be that good goes to show how good Rare was as a developer. I mean, as I said, music, gameplay, the worlds, which I didn't actually talk about, the worlds are utterly fantastic, and the humor, which I tried to stay away from, but I'll have to mention it anyway. The humor is goddamn hilarious. Some of the shit he says is absolutely hilarious. The multiplayer was amazing. I put so many hours in the multiplayer. Yeah, I did it more than GoldenEye did. I did into GoldenEye, sorry. So that goes to show how much I love the multiplayer and how much I love this game. But it just hits shy of the top 3. So moving on. So here we go. Number 3, Sonic the Hedgehog, the original. No, I'm not being a hipster. No, I'm not saying it's the best in the series. I mean, it by far, Sonic CD and Sonic Mania are far better games than this is. But remember, this is my list, and I like Sonic 1 more, and there's a reason for that. This was the first video game I ever played. So it's got a lot of nostalgic bias to it, but we'll get to that in a second. So it was released in 1991 worldwide, published by Sega and developed by Sonic Team. So yeah. So why do I like this more than Sonic Mania and CD and Sonic 3? I actually don't really like Sonic 2 that much, but it's probably down to the levels. But Sonic, I love the music. I think it's got the best music in the series, and that's saying a lot considering Sonic has always had good music. My favorite Sonic track in Sonic's history is Marble Zone. I've always loved it. Yes, the level's not the best, but I love the track. I love the levels. I love the boss fights. I think the game is perfectly balanced in terms of difficulty spikes and the length. It's not too long. It's not too short. It's perfect the way it was done. As I said, it was the first video game I ever played. So, yeah, I mean, that's a lot of this, biased. Yes, you could argue Super Mario World is a far better game, but this is my list, remember? So, yeah, that's number 3, guys. Here we go. Number 2, just shy of number 1. Banjo-Kazooie, released in 1998, published by Nintendo and developed by Rare. This is not only Rare's magnum opus, it's the best platformer on the 64. It's the best platformer Nintendo's ever had. Best soundtrack in gaming history in terms of actual music that's not licensed out, like Need for Speed and all that there. Graphics were amazing for their time. I loved the levels. As I said, the music, oh my god. There isn't a bad track in this game. I love Banjo, Kazooie. Both of them are funny. They're brilliant. I love the boss fights. Gruntilda is one of the best villains in gaming. She's just hilarious. I can't really go on about this because I'll be here till Christmas. It is, everyone has played it. If people were to do their own list, this will always be in the list. It's that good of a game. If it's either this or 2 will always be in the list. But I think this is a better game than 2. So Banjo-Kazooie is number 2. So number 1, a lot of people that know me know what this is going to be. That is Crash Bandicoot, the original. Yes, I think it's better than 2 and 3, and there's a reason for that. Released in 1996, published by Sony and developed by Naughty Dog. Graphics were great for their time. They've not aged very well. The platforming, I think, was superb. It's the best in the trilogy. But what I like the most about this game over the second and third is the music. Yes, I know I've been going on about music throughout this entire list. The music, I believe, is the best in the trilogy. The only one that comes close is 2. I like the levels more than any of the others in the series. Once again, 2's the only one that, like, in my opinion, 2's the only one that comes close to this. 2, another thing I like about this game is the bosses. I think the bosses are better in this game than any other Crash Bandicoot game. The only thing the others have over this is Ripperoo. Also, I absolutely adore the map world, where it's very reminiscent of Mario, where you go to the world on the map instead of the warp zones that were introduced into 2 and 3. Crash. Who does not love Crash? I mean, yeah, Crash himself is an amazing character. Neo Cortex, one of the best villains in gaming, especially for platforming. I love this game so much that I was ready to give up on the trilogy's remaster because they botched the first one's platforming up. But I said to myself, no, I'll finish it off, and that's me done. If this had have been a perfect port, I would have platinumed it. But no, because it was a botched platform, they tried to put 2 and 3's platforming into 1. They ruined it. By all means, play the trilogy if you want to play it, but just be warned, 1's platforming is not as good as it should be because of, the way they did it. But I would recommend buying the digital version of Crash Bandicoot 1 on the PS3 or PSP or Vita. Anyway, I love this game so much that if I was to do a top 10 list of favorite games of all time, this would be in that list somewhere. So that goes to show how much I love this game. I love this game so much my family played the shit out of this game, as well as I'm surprised we did not burn that disc out. I mean, I was a PC gamer. I had 64 for a few games. We bought the PlayStation 1 for Crash Bandicoot, and then obviously I'd play other games later on down the line. But Crash Bandicoot, I bought a system for just Crash Bandicoot. That goes to show when you buy a system for one game, like a lot of people bought PS4 for Bloodborne. I bought this for Crash Bandicoot, and that goes to show how much I love this game, and it wasn't disappointing at all. So yeah, that's number 1, guys, Crash Bandicoot. So there you go, guys. That's every game that I would have on that list for platformers. Let me know what you think. I'm sorry about the way it's done, but I do my own things my own way kind of thing. I will be getting around to doing a shooter list, which will be hard as shit for me because there's a lot of games that I'll have to sacrifice doing the list. But yeah, let us know what you think, and if you eventually get around to playing Wiz and Liz, that you have not played it before and you get around to playing it, let me know in the comments what you thought of it, because I really would like to know what you think of it, because a lot of people have just never played this game. So anyhow, thank you for watching, guys, and thank you for sticking around for the video. This is Pvt-Mittens. Take